Hello. There's something I suppose I wanted to talk to you guys about that I don't think is really addressed so much when it comes to a little bit of sort of mental health and depression and bipolar and this kind of thing. If you've been following along, you'll have noticed in the odd video that I have been getting up this year, I've started to feel better. Like mood has started to lift, I feel better with work, and the direction of life has started to feel that it's a positive. We're going in the right direction. Things are, like, I'd say happening, but you know what I mean? Finding that contentment in life has started to become a thing that's more at the forefront of the mind rather than all the dark and gloomy and those stagnant feelings. But I feel it's important to address that those dark and gloomy feelings still happen. Last week was a solid week where I literally woke up one day and I was just in a dark spot. No rhyme or reason to it. No amount of trying to push through, ignore it, address it, whatever. Nothing seemed to work. I spent the entire week with what felt like a really, really big black cloud hanging over me and just a deep feeling of sadness within. There's an argument that there was one interaction that I had that could have planted the seed, but the reality of it is we often have, negative interactions, or we hear a little bit of not even bad news, but maybe news that wasn't exactly what we was hoping it to be. Doesn't really affect you. It's just a little case of, oh, okay, so that wasn't what I thought it was. Now I have the actual information. It's a little bit of a bummer. This kind of thing. But the reality of it was that entire week, I just could not shift it, no matter what I did. And for myself, when I'm like that, I don't want to be around other people because I feel that the darkness and the sadness that I bring is infectious. I feel that if I'm in this mood, in this headspace, and I'm around others, then it's going to kind of rub off onto others. And I don't want to do that to people. I don't want to have them experience what I'm experiencing at the time. It's this really weird feeling of just wanting to isolate yourself, just wanting to ignore the feeling completely, not acknowledge it in any way, keep out the way of others, just so that everything can be, okay again. I noticed something that really irritated me unintentionally was people asking if I was okay. And the reason that I know that that irritated me is because the answer to, are you okay, is no, I'm not. But I don't have a reason why I'm not. I don't have anything's particularly happened. You know what I mean? There's no rhyme or reason to the bad feeling. So because I was unable to articulate that to them, because I couldn't tell them why I felt like I was in a bad mood, it kind of doubled down on that dark feeling, because it just emphasizes the case that you have no reason to feel this way. So why do you feel this way? And it just really kind of put the pressure on of not being able to answer the why. Why do I feel this way? I don't know. Are you okay? No, I'm not, but I don't know why I'm not. And it's frustrating me that I'm not okay. And it's frustrating me that I can't explain why I'm not okay. And it just highlights that it just all feels that it's in my head. That's the long and short of it for me personally. And that irritates me. That really does irritate me. It was tricky because I've tried to be honest with people as much as I can be. So it's always sort of saying, I'm not really doing too great, but I don't know why I'm not doing too great. But if you don't mind, kind of just ignore it. Like, don't ask me. I know that maybe you can pick up on it, but don't ask me if I'm okay, because I can't explain it. And then, you know what I mean? So it's been an interesting week in terms of trying to work with myself and understand what the hell is going on, but also to work with a couple of new people in my life so that they don't feel so pushed away, if that makes sense. Because like I say, when I feel like this, it's like that need to isolate myself and just keep myself out of the way of people. And when there's people that want to be around you and you're giving off this impression of don't get too close, it can be very difficult. But I have found that being very open and honest with them has worked amazingly well in terms of the relationship, whatever you want to call it, between us. You give somebody a little bit of knowledge, and thankfully they're very respectful, very decent people, and they've acknowledged what's been said and they've acted accordingly. And it's been a great help, because then it doesn't feel that you're being a burden to people. It doesn't feel that you're almost trying to hide something from them. It doesn't feel that you can't answer the questions that they have. It's simply a case of they just keep an eye on you from a distance, if you like. They're not going to ask you if they're okay, but they're just side-eyeing you almost. Just, you up to any good? Yeah, you okay, cool. And it's also a case of letting them know that if something really isn't okay, that I really can't deal with, shall we say, like something that really takes me to a really, really dark place, then I will talk to them and let them know. Short of that, it's a case of, hey, this is a feeling, I'm not feeling great, but it's not going to be a bad thing. It's just, like I say, it's just that dark cloud that's hanging over me this week. And it is just a bother. Sure, has been making you think, kind of stupid thoughts in that, hey, what's the point? But I also know that it will be a moment that passes. So it's not been something that really kind of pulls on me and drags me down as such. Thankfully, it feels like I'm at the end of it now. I've let it have its moment. I've tried not to give it any thought or energy. I've not fed it. And I feel that was something that was important. When people ask, are you okay? It feels that that's feeding into the negativity and letting it win, because it's been acknowledged by other people. It's something that goes from being like a mindset within myself to that external validation of its existence. And it's a case of, hey, if you can almost ignore that it exists, then it's not getting any energy, so it'll eventually just kind of fizzle out and go away. And I do feel that that's where I'm at. I'm heading out of the darkness a little bit into a little bit more of contentment again. Like I say, contentment is where I want to be. It feels way more peaceful than trying to be happy and woo all the time. I think that is an unrealistic expectation. But I think contentment and just being literally content with things, feeling that you're working towards the right thing, feeling that you are progressing, that is a better place to feel for myself anyway. It's a better spot to feel that I'm in, rather than trying to be happy all the time. I feel happiness is very much not an illusion, but it's very much a in the moment kind of thing. Happiness is an experience that happens, rather than an endless kind of situation, if you like. I feel that being content is better, because you can smile through contentment, but it doesn't mean you're like over the top happy. You can be content, but a little bit down, but it doesn't mean that you're sad, down, and depressed. It's contentment to be okay with where everything's at and how everything is. I don't know if that is a little bit tongue in cheek in terms of it is what it is kind of thing, but that's the vibe that I actually get. Something goes wrong, it's like it is what it is, because ultimately you are kind of content with things, and it just feels that it makes everything a lot more manageable. But I just thought I'd drop in and just voice that little bit about having those dark moments, because they're very real. A lot of people experience them, even the most happiest, most content people who are in the most peace, whatever. I should imagine there's still moments where there's a little bit of darkness that slips in. And I do feel that it is something that's never really kind of touched on or spoken about. it just kind of gets glossed over that you're either sad and that's the mood, or you're either happy and that's the mood. And people who are happy are not allowed to be sad because, you know, what have you got to be sad for? And yeah, I just felt it needed to be like raised to some degree, you know, that you can all of a sudden just have random times where you are just overwhelmed with the darkness. And it's actually okay as long as you're not going to do anything ridiculous. It's just a case of riding it out, doing life back to the very basics. You get up, you go to work, you come home, you go to sleep. Print, repeat, you know what I mean? Do those things and it will eventually pass. And sometimes it will take a lot longer and sometimes it will take a lot shorter. But I think if you can just get your head down and just do your thing, don't give it any energy, don't give it any acknowledgement. I think that has been the most important thing for me. But it's been tough for no reason. And that's what frustrates me, I think. But yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, yo, I hope you're all good. And I hope to see you again next time. I know, like, the last quarter here has been a little bit hit and miss with uploading and stuff. I don't know how to explain it. You'd be surprised how a guy with whatever I've got, 6,000, I think, something subscribers, can still feel extremely, extremely awkward making a video. But here we are. Hope you guys are well, and I look forward to seeing you all again next time. Cheers, people. Take it easy.